हेलो गाइस, आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे दिसंबर 2023 हेलो गाइस, आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे दिसंबर 2023 के महीने के करंट अफेयर्स। अगर आप डेली न्यूज़पेपर रीड नहीं कर पाते तो चिंता की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि इस वीडियो में मैं आपके लिए लाया हूं द हिंदू से इस महीने के सभी इंपॉर्टेंट करंट अफेयर्स। तो चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं। GDP surges 7.6% in Q2, goes past RBI forecast. As per estimates from the National Statistical Office, India's gross domestic product grew at 7.6% in the July-September quarter. The second quarter growth rate was well over the central bank's projected uptick of 6.5%. In a blow to Kerala government, SC questions reappointment of Kannur University Vice Chancellor. A bench headed by CJI Sbi Clerk set aside a decision of Kerala High Court which had upheld the validity of a November 23, 2021 notification reappointing Mr. Gopinath Ravindran as Vice Chancellor. The court accused the Kerala government of undue interference and made it clear that it is the Chancellor, that is the Governor, who is conferred with the competence under the Kannur University Act 1996 to appoint or reappoint a Vice Chancellor. No other person can interfere with the functioning of the statutory authority. Rupees 2.23 lakh crore to buy 97 Tejas jets, 156 Prachand helicopters. Defence Acquisition Council, chaired by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, gives approval for acquisition of indigenously developed aircraft for armed forces. 98% of total procurement is to be sourced from domestic industries. The top body also approved proposal to buy medium-range anti-ship missiles for the Navy, which is a lightweight surface-to-surface missile. Navy gets ready for its biggest naval exercise. The next edition of Exercise Milan is scheduled for February 2024, which is expected to see the participation of over 50 countries. Exercise Milan is a biennial, multilateral naval exercise which began in 1995 and has since significantly expanded its scope and scale to become the largest exercise held by India. December 4 is observed as Navy Day to commemorate the Navy's daring attack on the Karachi harbour during the 1971 Indo-Pak War under Operation Trident. 3 anti-submarine warfare ships have been launched by Cochin Shipyard Limited for Indian Navy, which have been named as INS Mahe, INS Malwan and INS Mangrol. Loss and Damage Fund cleared on day 1 of COP28 summit. Member countries have agreed to make operational a loss and damage fund meant to compensate countries already dealing with the effects of climate change. To be based at the World Bank but managed by an independent secretariat, the fund has received commitments worth $250 million from countries. The fund was first announced at the conclusion of COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt last year. India offers to host COP33 in 2028. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his address at COP28, offered to host the 33rd edition of the annual summit due in 2028 in India. He said that developed countries should be vacating the carbon space before 2050 and made a pitch for countries to join India on its Green Credit Initiative, which is a non-commercial effort to create a carbon sink. A proposal to host the Conference of Parties must be approved by other signatories to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, that is UNFCCC. India has previously hosted the summit in 2002. Next, Governor cannot refer re-enacted bills to the President, says Supreme Court. A 3-judge bench headed by CJI Sbi Clerk held that the Governor cannot refer a bill repassed by the state legislature to the President under Article 200 of the Constitution. He has no choice left but to grant his assent to the bill in the re-enacted form. The Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi had referred the 10 key bills re-enacted by the state legislature to the President for consideration. Cyclone Michaung makes landfall in Andhra Pradesh, creates havoc. The cyclonic storm Michaung intensified into a severe cyclonic storm and crossed the coast of Bapatala in Andhra Pradesh. The name of Cyclone Michaung was proposed by Myanmar, which signifies resilience and fortitude. Next, Modi and Muizu agree to set up core group to further deepen ties. India and Maldives have agreed to set up a core group to further deepen their partnership. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a productive meeting with newly elected Maldivian President Mohammad Muizu on the sidelines of COP28. BJP sweeps Hindi belt, Congress bags Telangana. Though BJP won Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh, Congress largely retained its vote share. Aam Aadmi Party loses all seats in polls, gets fewer votes than Nota. ZPM comfortably wins Mizoram in single party show. A regional party led by a former IPS officer has wrested power from the Mizo National Front, which is an ally of the BJP. The Zoram People's Movement, that is ZPM, led by Laldu Homa, won 27 seats in 40-member Mizoram Assembly. So, who are the new chief ministers? Let us see. In Mizoram, Laldu Homa is the new CM. In Telangana, Revant Reddy. In Chhattisgarh, Vishnu Dev Sai. In Madhya Pradesh, Mohan Yadav. And in Rajasthan, Bhajan Lal Sharma. Next, Mahua expelled from Lok Sabha, opposition MPs walk out. Trinamool Congress member Mahua Moitra has been expelled from the Lok Sabha over cash for curry allegations. Ms. Moitra was accused of taking bribes from Dubai-based businessman Darshan Hiranandani in return for asking questions in Parliament. The Trinamool leader later described the Ethics Committee's recommendation of expulsion as hanging by a kangaroo court. Next, Punjab Governor reserves bills for President's nod. Punjab Governor Banwari Lal Purohit has reserved 3 bills passed by the state legislature for consideration of the President. The 3 bills are the Sikh Gurdwaras Amendment Bill 2023, the Punjab Universities Laws Amendment Bill 2023 and the Punjab Police Amendment Bill 2023. The Sikh Gurdwara Amendment Bill aims at freeing the rights to telecast Gurbani from Golden Temple in Amritsar. The Punjab University Laws Amendment Bill aims to replace the Governor with Chief Minister as the Chancellor of the state-run universities. The Punjab Police Amendment Bill aims to bring about an independent mechanism for selection and appointment to the post of Director General of Police, that is DGP. As per the current practice, the states send the names of all eligible officers to the UPSC for selecting the state police head. The UPSC then suggests the names of 3 officers from which the state government selects one for the post. Next, RBI keeps repo rate at 6.5%, raises GDP growth forecast. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Reserve Bank of India has decided to keep the key interest rates unchanged. The bank raised its GDP growth projection for 2023-24 to 7% from 6.5%. Sorry. Also, the bank retained its average inflation forecast at 5.4% while warning that inflation could spike through November and December. Next, RBI enhances UPI payment limits. The RBI has enhanced the UPI payment limits for healthcare and education to Rs 5 lakh from Rs 1 lakh. The central bank also raised the limit on recurring e-payment mandates for credit card, insurance and mutual fund payments to rupees 1 lakh from rupees 15,000 currently. Bhagwant Mann Sarkar Tuade Dwar scheme launched in Punjab. Under this scheme, people in Punjab will now be able to get 43 government services by just dialing the helpline number 1076 from the comfort of their homes. The services include issuance of birth, marriage and death registration certificates. This remote governance will not only make people's life easier but will also help the state exchequer in saving over rupees 200 crore by doing away with logistical costs. This is very important. Supreme Court upholds repeal of J&K's special status. A constitution bench of the Supreme Court, headed by the CJI, upheld the power of the President to abrogate special status of Jammu and Kashmir under Article 370 of the Constitution. The President, in exercise of the power under Article 370 Clause 3, can unilaterally issue a notification that Article 370 ceases to exist. From its historical context, it is clear that Article 370 was only a temporary provision. Giving Article 370 a permanent status will undo efforts to fully integrate J&K with the Union. The verdict has strengthened the spirit of Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. However, the court has directed the Union government to restore statehood to J&K at the earliest and hold elections by September 30, 2024. Lok Sabha passes bills for women's quota in J&K, Puducherry. The Lok Sabha passed two bills to extend the provisions of the Constitution 106th Amendment Act, which grants 33% reservation to women in Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies to the Union territories of Puducherry and Jammu and Kashmir. Rajya Sabha passes bills for appointment of CEC and ECs. The Rajya Sabha passed the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners' appointment, conditions of service and term of office bill, which will guide the appointment of Chief Election Commissioner and election commissioners in future. Now, Article 324 of the Constitution provides that the appointment of CEC and ECs shall, subject to provisions of any law made by Parliament, be made by the President. The existing parliamentary law is silent with respect to appointment. The appointments till date are made by the President, that is the central government, and there is no mechanism for ensuring independence during the appointment process. The proposed law provides that the CEC and other ECs shall be appointed from persons who are holding or have held a post equivalent to the rank of Secretary to the Government of India. There shall be a search committee headed by Minister of Law and Justice, who shall prepare a panel of 5 persons for consideration to the selection committee. The CEC and EC shall be appointed by the President on the recommendation of selection committee consisting of Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition in Lok Sabha and a Union Cabinet Minister to be nominated by Prime Minister. However, the bill removes the CJI from the selection process that was laid down in the Anu Baranwal case. Next is smoke canister strike sets off chaos in Lok Sabha. A major security breach on the 22nd anniversary of the attack on Parliament. Two men identified as Lucknow resident Sagar Sharma and Mysuru resident D. Manoranjan jumped into Lok Sabha chamber from the visitors gallery, carrying canisters emitting yellow smoke. However, no MP or security staff was injured in the incident. With no terror angle in the incident, it may be a political protest. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla ordered a high-level inquiry into the breach and a security review of the new building. Next, India votes in favor of immediate ceasefire in Gaza by Israel. India votes in favor of a United Nations General Assembly, that is UNGA, resolution that calls on Israel for an immediate ceasefire, protection of civilians in accordance with international law, and release of all hostages. India is among 153 countries that make up a massive 4/5 majority in Assembly who voted in favor of resolution. Only 10 countries, including US and Israel, voted against the resolution and 23 abstained. While the UNGA does not have the power to enforce its resolutions as the UNSC does, it carries the sentiment of global community against the Israeli bombardment of Gaza that has rendered more than 100 million people homeless. COP28 calls for transition away from fossil fuels. Negotiators in Dubai adopted a resolution called the Dubai Consensus. The standout clause in 21-page text calls on parties to transition away from fossil fuels in energy systems in a just, orderly and equitable manner to achieve net zero by 2050. Thus, the nations took a small but decisive step towards ridding the world of fossil fuels. Greenhouse gas emissions have to be reduced sharply to keep the global temperatures from rising beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius by the end of the century, and this requires tackling the main culprit, that is, fossil fuels. House passes bill to set up Central Tribal University in Telangana. The Rajya Sabha passed Central University's amendment bill to establish Samakka Sarakka Central Tribal University in Telangana. The House also passed the repealing and amending bill to repeal 76 redundant and obsolete laws. Next is, how will election boycott by the BNP affect Bangladesh? See, Bangladesh Nationalist Party is the chief opposition party of Bangladesh. BNP leaders have maintained that they will not participate in the elections on January 7 as they do not feel the elections will be free and fair under the Awami League government. The government of PM Sheikh Hasina has jailed most of the top opposition leaders of BNP following incidents of arson and death of a policeman during a BNP rally. Therefore, an election without BNP cannot be described as a real contest. Next is, road fatalities rise in India despite global drop. According to Global Status Report on Road Safety 2023, road traffic deaths fell by 5% to 1.19 million annually worldwide between 2010 and 2021. However, India registered a 15% increase in fatalities from 1.34 lakh in 2010 to 1.54 lakh in 2021. Next is New Delhi Declaration on Artificial Intelligence adopted. Representatives from 28 countries and European Union adopted the New Delhi Declaration of the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence. India is hosting the summit and will chair the GPAI grouping in 2024. The declaration affirms the country's commitment to principles for responsible AI rooted in democratic values and human rights and promoting responsible, sustainable and human-centered use of AI. Next is Centre revives plan to simplify GST rates. The government has reconstituted the ministerial group of the GST Council that was tasked with recommending the simplification of complex tax structure and a rejig of its multiple rates. While there are four main GST rate slabs of 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%, there are about a dozen different rates in practice. This is further complicated in case of some items whose tax rates depend on their packaging and selling prices, like in case of footwear and hotel rooms. Simplifying GST rates will help in ease of tax compliance and making it easier to do business. Next is Allahabad High Court allows survey of Mathura's Shahi Eidgah Mosque adjoining the Krishna Janmabhoomi temple. The petitioners claimed that the mosque was built over Krishna Janmabhoomi land on the orders of Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb in 1670. The suit seeks removal of the mosque from more than 13-acre complex it is built on. The inspection will be done by a 3-member team of advocate commissioners. The order comes at a time when the Archaeological Survey of India is already conducting a scientific survey of the Gyanvapi Mosque in Varanasi after petitioners claimed it was a Hindu temple. Delisting parties with religious names. Only House can decide. See, there are a number of political parties with religious connotations such as Hindu Sena, All India Majlis-e-Ittihadul Muslimin, that is AIMIM, Indian Union Muslim League, etc. This is against the spirit of Representation of People Act, as parties cannot seek vote in the name of religion or caste. However, the court observed that the parliament is the right forum to decide on the legitimacy of such party, as policy making does not fall in the domain of judiciary. India's fastest solar electric boat launched. Barracuda launched at yard of Nawalt Solar and Electric Boats located off Arur in Allappuzha, taking ahead the cause of eco-friendly maritime transportation. Named after the swift longfish Barracuda, it has been built for Mazagon Dock Limited. It can navigate through waves as tall as 4 meters and operates without noise and vibration. Next is very important. Centre calls meeting of Punjab and Haryana Chief Ministers over SYL row. The Satluj-Yamuna link canal issue has been a bone of contention between Punjab and Haryana for the past several years. The canal was conceptualized for effective sharing of water between the two states. The project envisages a 214-kilometer canal, of which 122-kilometer stretch to be constructed in Punjab and remaining 92-kilometer in Haryana. However, Punjab CM Bhagwant Singh Mann has reiterated that the state has not even a single drop of water to share with other states. Peace activist Ali Abu Awad and classical pianist Daniel Barenboim win Indira Gandhi Peace Prize 2023 for their efforts in bringing together the youth and people of Israel and the Arab world for a non-violent resolution of Israel-Palestine conflict. The award, instituted in 1986, is accorded annually by Indira Gandhi Memorial Trust and carries a cash reward of Rs 25 lakh. Next is PM flags of Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra in 5 states. These states include Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Telangana and Mizoram, where it was not initiated in view of assembly polls. This nationwide campaign was launched in Jharkhand on November 15. Modi Sarkar ki guarantee vehicles are now reaching all parts of the country and had so far covered thousands of villages and towns. Parliament passes bill to replace 125-year-old Indian Post Office Act 1898. The legislation is an attempt to ensure the effective functioning of the postal department as a messenger service and as a provider of banking facilities. The bill empowers post office officers to intercept, open or detain any item or deliver it to customs authority in the interest of national security. Another provision says that the post office and its officers shall be exempt from any liability by reason of any loss, misdelivery, delay or damage in course of any service provided by it. Over the years, services available through post office have diversified beyond mails, and the post office network has become a vehicle for delivery of a variety of citizen-centric services that necessitated the repeal of the said act and enactment of a new law in its place. Kuwait's ruling Emir Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmad Al Salah died. He was 86. His half-brother and deputy ruler Sheikh Mashal Al Ahmad Al Jaber is in line to take over as next ruler. Additional organic molecules found in Enceladus plume. Enceladus is the 6th largest moon of Saturn. Molecules including methanol, ethane and oxygen are present in gaseous plumes emitted from Enceladus as suggested by Cassini mission. India and Oman are in talks to sign an economic partnership agreement. Ruler of Oman, Sultan Haitham bin Tariq, is on his first visit to India. The two countries signed 5 documents, including an agreement to prevent money laundering. Next is Egypt's Al-Sisi sweeps to third term as president with 89.6% of votes. Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has swept to a third 6-year term as Egypt's president, winning 89.6% of votes in an election in which he faced no serious challengers. The election took place at a time when Egypt is suffering with a slow-burning economic crisis and tries to manage the risk of spillover from the war in Gaza, which borders Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. Kashi Tamil Sangamam is strengthening the idea of Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. PM Modi inaugurated the second edition of Kashi Tamil Sangamam at Namo Ghat in Varanasi. He said that Kashi and Tamil Nadu have been sharing an emotional and creative bond since time immemorial. The program, organized by the Ministry of Education, celebrates, reaffirms and rediscovers the age-old links between Tamil Nadu and Varanasi. Global coal demand likely to decline 2.3% by 2026, as per a report of the International Energy Agency. Global coal consumption is expected to remain over 8 billion tons through 2026. While the decline is due to a shift towards renewable energy and plateauing demand in China, India will remain the driving force for the fuel until that year. Bhutan to have massive green city along Assam border. The announcement by Bhutanese King Jigme Khesar Namgyal Wangchuk is the first official confirmation of what is known as the Galefu Smart City project. It will be a special administrative region that would be run under different laws to facilitate more international investment. PM Modi inaugurates Surat Diamond Bourse in Gujarat. The SDB building is the world's largest official complex with over 67 lakh square feet of floor area. It is expected to add 1.5 lakh more jobs. Surat is the hub of diamond cutting and polishing. Omnibus Telecom Bill in Lok Sabha, legislation to streamline regulation. The Telecommunications Bill 2023 has been introduced in Lok Sabha. This bill will replace Telegraph Act of 1885. The bill proposes the first comprehensive rewrite of telecommunication law in 138 years, consolidating spectrum rules, right of way, dispute resolution, and other aspects of telecom regulation into one fresh statute. Auctions will be the preferred mode of allotment of spectrum, while administrative allotment will be used in cases such as satellite TV and broadband. The bill requires telecom customers to undergo biometric authentication. The bill opens the door for spectrum allotments to satellite internet providers such as OneWeb and SpaceX Starlink. India's first winter Arctic expedition begins. Raman Research Institute team to hold study. The expedition was flagged off by Minister of Earth Sciences Kiran Rijiju. The researchers would examine the characterization of radio frequency environment in the Svalbard region of Arctic in Norway. India has been running its own research station Himadri in Svalbard since 2008. Union Health Ministry issues advisory to states in view of detection of new JN1 variant of COVID-19 in Kerala. The states are advised to put in place requisite public health measures to minimize the risk of increase in transmission. Also, states have been urged to monitor and report district-wise influenza-like illness and severe acute respiratory illness. European Union to probe Elon Musk's X, formerly known as Twitter, under new rules for breach of obligations. It is the first such probe under the Digital Services Act of European Union. The DSA requires large online platforms to tackle illegal content and risks to public security. The 2024 Indian Premier League, that is IPL, saw two players breach the ₹20 crore mark for the first time. Australian fast bowlers Mitchell Starc and Pat Cummins were the big winners when Kolkata Knight Riders and Sunrisers Hyderabad shelled out ₹24.75 crore and ₹20.5 crore respectively. This makes them the two most costliest buys in the history of the tournament. India's Harshal Patel was the costliest Indian player, with Punjab Kings forking out rupees 11.75 crore for the medium pace all-rounder. Host's last-minute withdrawal leaves historic Science Congress in the lurch. After announcing that it would host the 109th edition of Indian Science Congress, the Jalandhar-based LPU has backed out. This makes it unlikely that the annual 3-day event, traditionally inaugurated by the Prime Minister, can be held as usually in the first week of January. In this event, India's pre-eminent scientists and technologists are converged to discuss scientific updates, give public lectures, and interact with students. States can borrow an extra rupees 2 lakh crore this fiscal year. Centre allows 22 states to raise additional borrowings of about rupees 61,000 crore for meeting pension liabilities by NPS contributions. This is on top of their net borrowing ceiling of 3% of gross state domestic product. Moreover, states are eligible to raise about rupees 1.43 lakh crore this year, based on recommendations of the Ministry of Power. This is linked to 15th Finance Commission's suggestion to grant states additional borrowing space of 0.5% of GSDP as incentive for power sector reforms. US launches multinational push to protect Red Sea from Houthi strikes. US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin announced the creation of a multinational operation to safeguard commerce in the Red Sea. This follows a series of missile and drone attacks by Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthis. Lok Sabha passes bills to replace British-era criminal laws. Now there are 3 laws. First is Bharatiya Nyaya Second Sanhita Bill, that is BNSS, which will replace Indian Penal Code 1860. Second is Bharatiya Sakshya Second Bill, that is BSS, which will replace Indian Evidence Act 1872. And third is Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Second Sanhita Bill, which will replace Code of Criminal Procedure 1898. So what is new in these 3 bills? Let us see. For the first time, terrorism has been defined and included as a separate category in general crime law. Mob lynching has been made punishable with death penalty. Sedition has been dropped off, with Rajdroh, that is offence against the government, being replaced with Deshdroh, offence against the nation or country. For the first time, laws define organized crime encompassing cyber crimes, economic crimes, land grabbing, arms trade, dacoity and human trafficking. For the hit and run cases, there is a punishment provision of 10 years of imprisonment and a fine of rupees 7 lakh. For several minor offences, community service has been made an option of punishment instead of imprisonment. This will help reduce the burden on jails. Medical negligence by doctors, previously categorized as non-culpable homicide, that is section 304A, has now been decriminalized. This is following a request from Indian Medical Association. The BNSS also introduces provisions for eFIR, that is allowing FIR registration through electronic means. This provision serves as a significant relief for victims, especially women, by preventing them from reliving traumatic experiences while reporting crimes. The victim can also go to any police station and lodge a zero FIR, irrespective of the territorial jurisdiction. Importance has been given to the use of technology in all the three stages of crime, that is, scene, investigation, and trial. It will not only ensure transparency and accountability in police probes, but will also improve the quality of evidence. A provision for trial in absentia has also been introduced, which refers to a trial conducted in the absence of the accused, in case the alleged offender has absconded to evade trial. Next is Colorado court bars Trump from election. Former US President Donald Trump cannot appear on the ballot in Colorado in the next year's presidential election. This is because of his role in the January 6, 2021 attack on the US Capitol by his supporters. Sahitya Academy announces awards for the year 2023. In the English language category, Neelam Saran Gaur has been selected for her novel Requiem in Raga Janki. In Hindi, writer Sanjeev has been named for his novel Mujhe Pehchano. The awards are awarded annually on writers of outstanding literary works published in 24 languages, that is, 22 languages in the 8th schedule of Constitution as well as English and Rajasthani. The award comprises an engraved copper plaque, a shawl and ₹1 lakh prize money. Sports Ministry okays Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratan Award for badminton players Satvik Sairaj Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty. Besides, 26 sports persons including pacer Mohammad Shami will be conferred Arjuna Award. Also, 5 coaches will get Dronacharya Award in regular category and 3 in lifetime category. WHO pre-qualifies R21 Matrix M malaria vaccine by Serum Institute of India. It is the second malaria vaccine pre-qualified by the WHO. Malaria, which is a mosquito-borne disease, places a particularly high burden in the African region, where nearly 500,000 children die from the disease every year. Next is missing for 42 years, Nam Dafa flying squirrel resurfaces in Arunachal Pradesh. The Nam Dafa flying squirrel, that is Biswamia pterotus biswasi, is an arboreal nocturnal flying squirrel endemic to Arunachal Pradesh. Next is Bengaluru Airport wins award at UNESCO's 2023 Prix Versailles. Terminal T2 of Kempegowda International Airport in Bengaluru has been recognized as one of the world's most beautiful airports and awarded the special prize for interiors at the UNESCO's 2023 Prix Versailles. Next is Center approves deployment of CISF, that is Central Industrial Security Force, in the Parliament complex. The decision comes days after the December 13th security breach in the Parliament. Macron accepts PM's invite to be the chief guest at Republic Day feat. This is very important. French President Emmanuel Macron will be the chief guest at the Republic Day celebrations this January. In the recent years, France has emerged as one of the key defense partners of India, and the two sides have maintained consistent high-level contacts. Mr. Modi was the guest of honor at the Bastille Day parade in Paris on July 14. This is a very important government scheme. Government aims to set up 17,000 crèches in Anganwadis across India. The initiative is being taken by the Women and Child Development Ministry under the Palna scheme. It will provide a safe and secure environment for the nutritional health and cognitive development of the children. China bans export of rare earth technologies. This has been done as it deems key to national security, as China is the world's top processor of rare earth elements, accounting for 90% of global refined output. The rare earth elements are a set of 17 metallic elements, which include 15 lanthanides on the periodic table plus scandium and yttrium. These are used to make magnets for use in electric vehicles and other electronics. Sentenced to 25 years jail for rape, UP BJP MLA Ram Dular Gond disqualified. So, according to the Representation of People Act, a lawmaker sentenced to imprisonment for 2 years or more shall be disqualified from the date of such conviction and remain disqualified for another 6 years after serving term. Modi honored valor martyrdom of Sahibzadas. This is very important. You can get a question in exam. Veer Bal Divas is observed every year on 26th December to honor the martyrdom of Baba Fateh Singh and Baba Zorawar Singh, the sons of 10th Sikh Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Next, UGC reissues notice that MPhil is not a degree course. The University Grant Commission has reiterated through a public notice that the Master of Philosophy, that is MPhil degree courses, are no longer recognized. The notification was published in the Gazette on November 7, 2022. However, the MPhil courses started prior to it will not be affected, as the students can complete the courses. Jaishankar meets Putin, hails strong and steady India-Russia ties. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar says that he is confident that the annual India-Russia Leadership Summit, which PM Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin have skipped for 2 years, would be held in 2024. The meeting has yielded a number of agreements on trade, connectivity, nuclear energy, military technology and arms supplies. Fiscal deficit may breach 5.9% of GDP. India's fiscal deficit may breach the 5.9% of GDP target for this year and can hit 6%. Though tax collections have been buoyant and may offset a wide shortfall in disinvestment outcomes, this may be due to the likelihood of revenue spending exceeding the budget estimate about Rs 2 lakh crore. India-ASEAN to rejig 15-year trade pact in early 2024. India's trade deficit with the region was $7.5 billion annually when the pact was implemented. This has increased to $43.57 billion in financial year 23. Negotiations will attempt to bridge this gap. The 10-member ASEAN, which includes Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Brunei, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar and Cambodia, accounted for 11.3% of India's global trade in 2022 and 23. Center likely to miss disinvestment target yet again in financial year 2024. Out of the budgeted amount of Rs 51,000 crore, only about 20% or 10,049 crore has been collected through minority stake sales via IPO, that is initial public offering, and OFS, offer for sale. ICMR initiates steps for non-invasive testing method to tackle anemia. Anemia continues to be a major public health problem in India despite the comprehensive Anemia Mukt Bharat Abhiyan. Indian Council of Medical Research has invited expression of interest from eligible companies and startups to manufacture non-invasive hemoglobinometer useful in effective screening of anemia. Narrowing trade deficit cut India's CAD to 1% of GDP. India's current account deficit declined to $8.3 billion in Q2, which is 1% of the country's GDP. This is owing to narrowing of merchandise trade deficit. Government working on PLI 2.0 for steel sector in 2024. The government is working on Production Linked Incentive Scheme 2.0 and to ensure adequate raw material for the steel sector in 2024. The PLI scheme offers companies incentives on incremental sales from products manufactured in domestic units. It aims to boost the manufacturing sector and to reduce imports. Ministry sends social media firms advisory to regulate deepfakes. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has sent advisory to social media firms to comply with the Information Technology Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code rules. The advisory is aimed at getting social media firms to crack down more forcefully on fabricated deepfake clips of personalities. Now, what is deepfake? Deepfake is the manipulation of facial appearance through deep generative methods. It leverages powerful techniques from machine learning and artificial intelligence to manipulate or generate content that can easily deceive. Government targets document saturation in PVTG villages in 1 week. Kicking off the PM Jan Man campaign for the particularly vulnerable tribal groups, the Tribal Affairs Ministry has set a target of 1 week to achieve Aadhaar, caste certificate and Jan Dhan account saturation across 15,000 PVTG habitation in 100 districts. PM Janman is a government scheme that aims to bring tribal communities into the mainstream. It stands for Pradhan Mantri Janjati Adivasi Nyay Maha Abhiyan. Who are PVTGs? In 1960-61, the Debar Commission identified disparities among scheduled tribes, leading to the creation of primitive tribal groups, that is PTG. In 2006, this category was named particularly vulnerable tribal groups. In total, there are 75 PVTGs. India-Russia Inc. key pacts related to future units of Kudankulam nuclear power plant. A major boost to their time-tested partnership. The Kudankulam nuclear power plant, which is India's largest, is being built in Tamil Nadu with the technical assistance of Russia. The plant is expected to become fully operational by 2027. Qatar court drops death penalty for 8 Indians. Again, this is very important. The Court of Appeals in Doha has commuted the death sentence of 8 former Indian naval personnel. All 8 were employees of Dahra Global Defense Services Company and were arrested on espionage charges. So it is the first positive development for the families of 8 men who have been on death row. However, they will keep fighting to prove their innocence. Pegasus spyware found on journalist's phone after Apple alert, says Amnesty. The founder-editor of the Wire news website, Siddharth Varadarajan, and another journalist in India were targeted with Pegasus spyware this year. On October 30, opposition MPs and journalists got alert from Apple saying their phones were being targeted by state-sponsored hacking. Israel-based Sbi Aso Group, which is the developer of Pegasus spyware, sells its technology only to governments. Trade data show that Intelligence Bureau imported hardware from NSO Group in 2017. The Pegasus allows attackers to extract data from phones and may give them access to real-time mic and camera data. This unlawful surveillance is an attack on their privacy and violates their right to freedom of expression. Centre Assam signed peace pact with ULFA, that is United Liberation Front of Assam. ULFA cadres have agreed to surrender arms and ammunition and have decided to join the mainstream and engage in peaceful democratic process established by law. This tripartite settlement is significant for Assam's peace. According to a key point of the peace accord, 97 out of 126 assembly seats in Assam would be reserved for indigenous people. Constitutional safeguards would be ensured by protecting land rights. Interest rates up on 2 schemes, no hike for PPF. The Union government has decided to raise the returns on the Sukanya Samriddhi account scheme from 8% to 8.2% and on 3-year term deposits from 7% to 7.1% for the first quarter of 2024. The status quo has been retained on interest rates for all other savings schemes. The PPF, that is Public Provident Fund, interest rate will continue to remain at 7.1%. In a fresh record, ITR filings for the assessment year 2023-24 surpassed 8 crore. This is a rise of 6.44% over the returns filed for assessment year 2022-23. In Supreme Court, Kerala seeks norms for governors on reserving bills. So let us see what is the matter. Kerala has moved the Supreme Court for guidelines on circumstances under which the governor may reserve the bills presented to him for the consideration of the President without his assent or return to the Assembly. The state wants the court to interpret the phrase as soon as possible in the first provision to Article 200 of the Constitution on the timeline for the disposal of bills presented to the governor. Kerala Governor Arif Mohammad Khan sat on 8 bills that were passed by the state legislature even up to 3 years. Later, the governor sent 7 of the 8 bills for the consideration of the president without examining them and giving reasons for reserving them. Ayodhya Airport takes off ahead of January 22. Prime Minister Modi launched 46 projects estimated at Rs 15,700 crore in Ayodhya and inaugurated the Maharishi Valmiki International Airport and the revamped Ayodhya Dham Junction railway station. He said that the world is waiting for the consecration of Ram temple and no stone would be left unturned to develop the holy place. Census postponed again to be delayed till at least October next year. The deadline to freeze the administrative boundaries of districts, tehsils, towns, municipal bodies and others for the census has been extended till June 30, 2024. This means the decennial exercise, which should have been started in 2020, will now be postponed again till at least October 2024, as it usually takes at least 3 months to prepare the list of enumerators after setting the boundaries. This is the 9th such extension of the deadline. Also, the reservation of 1/3 of the seats for women in Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies shall come into effect after delimitation is undertaken based on the first census held after the Act came into force. India has conducted the census every 10 years since 1881. The first phase of this decade's census was expected to begin in April 2020 but had to be postponed due to COVID-19 pandemic. In the absence of fresh data, government agencies are still formulating policies and allocating subsidies based on the data accrued from 2011 census. So that was all. If you liked the video and want to support us, you can contribute to us by paying any amount through UPI at 75088433724. So thank you very much.